I'm imagining it's sort of injuries, but I mean, what do you remember of Fuji going from wrestler to manager?
He was, he was in the tags, and the tag champion with Saito. I left for a few months and came back, and that's when they put him and I together. My after I came. I was with the Wizard, and then I came with Lou. I don't know how I went from transition from the Wizard to Lou. I don't. But when I was involved with the Jimmy Snuka, I was Lou was my manager. That led to the meatballs and all the other stuff. And Lou was my manager. And then I don't exactly remember how I transitioned to Fuji becoming my manager. I guess, I was no longer champion. I always mentioned that guys that the champion, you use a belt. It says your gimmick. That's why Jake the Snake wasn't saw that wanted, needed as a champion because he had the snake. All these other, they had their gimmick, and the belt. As soon as you win a belt, what you're going to do with is lose it. That's why, because I was, as a heel, I got beat up a lot, and managed to win and managed to keep my belt. So it was a good foil. So I forget who we were talking about in the interview.
Fuji as manager.
Oh yeah, how I got. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember exactly the transition, but he got it, and they had him. It was just one day he was there, and then one day he was just we were together, and he had that top hat and the Oddjob kind of hat and the tuxedo and the cane, and that was it. And it worked well because he was my belt. I didn't need a chair. And you could use him with the cane or interference for disqualification.
Did Fuji always have like two different types of cane shots? Was one like for the people he liked and he missed them, and for the people he didn't quite like as much, he might lay it in a bit harder?
I don't know. Yeah, I was never on the. I got hit by the cane. He hit me with the cane a bunch of times, assault lots of times. But the degree, I'm not sure. I'm sure somebody he didn't like, he probably swat him.
Who told him to dress like Oddjob? Was it the office, or was it just him? He just turned up one day with a suit on.
Yeah, everything came from the office. That was after Vince Senior was gone, and Junior was running the show. So evidently that was their vision for him going on. He was getting on. His knees were bothering him. He could still perform because we used to do tags, like me and Albano, but he would participate a lot more actively. In fact, the only time I ever saw Ricky Steamboat mad or out of sorts was we had Detroit going really well. We building up, and it was when Steamboat and I were in a single, and we're really super hot, and we're going into Joe Louis Arena, and I didn't realize. Well, I did realize at the time, but instead of being Steamboat going in a strap match or cage match or something like that, they turned into a tag match with me and Fuji against him and Hulk. So to keep, because we're going to have a 20,000 sellout at Joe Louis Arena in Detroit. So they had to get the main man on the card. So the big our big guy had to get be a part of that show. And just to guarantee that it went over the top. But seemed I didn't at that time, a lot of times I didn't realize that. I realized what was going on. My payoff would be the same, but I always realized that Fuji was getting manager money on a lot of things, but if he coming in a tag like that, we'd be getting all four of us would all be getting main event money and main event. So that's the way I looked at it, and I didn't look at it somebody else, stealing, jumping in. God knows I jumped in a million of Hulk's houses. so I parachuted a bunch of those and was happy to be there. So him getting in there, but it's a matter of that I sold out Detroit by myself. That was or my match. My match. That was the only time, the only frustration I ever came across Ricky. That at the time he was that they was, and he wasn't angry. It just it was a bit of frustration, a bit of irony in his voice, and that had taken place.